This is my take on a classic steakhouse entree. Prime ribeye, coated with a sweet and spicy rub and smoked to medium rare. We'll serve it with some indulgent cream spinach and a compound butter that is going to help bring the steakhouse to your dinner table tonight. Alright, we'll begin by making this sweet and smoky spice blend by adding a couple of tablespoons of some smoked paprika to a bowl, followed by some brown sugar, some fresh cracked pepper, and lots of other herbs and spices, the exact nature of which will be listed down below in the description for your benefit. This is an amazing spice rub that keeps for up to a month or so as long as it is stored nice and tight in your pantry, but I doubt it's going to last that long. Just go ahead and mix everything together. Got some paprika, some cumin, some chili powder, some cayenne in there. Give it a little taste to make sure the flavor is what you're looking for, and then put it to use or put it in the pantry. Either way, we're going to go ahead and start on our compound butter, and that's going to begin with some very finely chopped chives, as well as some finely chopped parsley, 1 stick of softened, unsalted butter, the zest of half a lemon. We're going to grate in a couple cloves of garlic, but you could also crush this or use pre-minced garlic if you really are in a bind. We'll shake in some blurry cayenne, a little bit of red pepper flakes, and then some whole grain mustard for tang and texture. All of those chopped chives and parsley. A nice generous seasoning with salt and pepper, and then we'll go ahead and give this a nice mix to combine. This is going to go absolutely beautifully on our steaks, but it is wonderful on fish, chicken, and pork, and keeps for about a week or so in the fridge. Just go ahead and roll it up using some plastic wrap or parchment paper, and there you go. You can slice off little pucks whenever you're ready to use that flavorful compound butter. As for our steak, I am splurging here with this beautiful 1 pound boneless ribeye that is absolutely marbled wonderfully with fat. This is a prime grade ribeye with a beautiful cap and a lovely eye of ribeye there. I'm just going to go ahead and put this on a wire rack and season it very generously. You could do this overnight and leave it in the fridge, but I'm just going to do it about 30 minutes ahead of time and let it come up to room temperature before taking it out to my smoker and popping it on at 250 degrees. This is definitely going to depend on the thickness of your steaks and how warm your smoker runs, but after about an hour or so, mine was hitting the golden spot there around 125 to 130, which is going to yield us a nice medium rare. So I pulled that off to rest and turned my attention to my cream spinach. I'm going to take 1 box of frozen spinach, defrost that, and thoroughly drain that. This is going to be enough for 2 folks, so if you want to serve more, you'll just need a little more spinach. Anyways, once that is nice and dry, as you can see, I squeezed it out using some nice clean paper towels there. We can just set that aside. We'll take some olive oil and add that to a skillet over medium heat, followed by a half of a white onion, which has been finely diced, a couple of cloves of garlic, and we'll just saute that out for 3 to 5 minutes until those alliums get nice and fragrant and softened and translucent, at which point we will shake in some seasonings. I've got a little bit of ground nutmeg, as well as just a pinch of cayenne pepper, a splash of heavy cream to add body and richness, and then a couple ounces of full-fat cream cheese. Just going to turn the heat down to medium-low and stir all of that in at this point. Let that cream reduce slightly. For a nice citrusy note, we're going to add in just a tiny little bit of lemon zest. We'll add in that whole 10-ounce box of frozen spinach and just stir all of this to combine. Now I realize that's not a ton of food, and again, that's just enough for 2 people, but you can increase this recipe as needed or just make enough to serve yourself. We'll season this with some salt and pepper, and then the final ingredient will be a nice handful of freshly ground Parmesan cheese for a nice funk, as well as additional salt and umami notes. Once that cheese is melted in, give everything a stir, kill the heat, and we've just got to sear this steak and we can plate things up. In order to sear this steak and get a beautiful crust, I'm going to rub some vegetable oil in the bottom of my cast iron skillet, and once it is smoking hot, I'm going to place that nice dry steak in and let it sear for 30 to 60 seconds. At which point I'm going to add in a little more butter, again for richness and to help us get a beautiful color. And because there is sugar in this rub, this is going to burn really easily. I am not going to give it more than 30 to 45 seconds on any one side before I flip it. Oh my gosh, that is absolutely beautiful. That sizzling, seared outside. We know it's going to be perfectly cooked on the inside. Let's give it a look. Oh, blushing, juicy, rare. Such a wonderful, hard sear and crust on the outside. That fat just absolutely marbled throughout the meat. Oh, you couldn't ask for a better cook than that. Listen, I'm not trying to glaze myself here. I'm just telling you, it's really this easy to cook a delightful, perfect steak. 125 to 130 internally. Pull it off, let it rest, and then sear the heck out of it. I don't care what kind of spice rub you use. You're going to have an amazing looking steak. I plated up my cream spinach using a ring mold just to get a little fancy. I'm laying down some compound butter and a little coin. We'll garnish this with a little more flaky sea salt and some more herbs, and that is just a beautiful plate of food. Whether I got served this on my dinner table, at home, or at a steakhouse, I'd be pretty darn happy. That is a rich, deeply flavorful steak with an incredible crust, just so many flavors working there. This cream spinach is indulgent, it's rich. I know it's not great for you. In fact, the spinach is probably the only healthy thing in this entire plate of food, but man, it's so tasty. It absolutely takes those classic steakhouse sides and elevates them. Got to get a little bite of that compound butter. Oh, the fresh chives, the mustard, the tang, the richness. I'm telling you guys, if you love steakhouse dinners, you're gonna absolutely love this. So please give it a try, or at the very least, go make something else delicious.